Episode 2. There is a company called Eriksson. Like we said in previous episode, the deep state has always sought to control information, money and government. The control of the creation of money has for a long time been under the control of the deep state. Control of information was a vital part of obtaining that control. Whoever has control of information has a massive strategic advantage. In these modern times, it's not about having the fastest honing pigeons anymore. We are living in the digital age. Swedish family of finance and banking, the Wallenberg family, owns or controls many of the global tech companies through their investment company called Investor. The crown jewel, which is the base for controlling information, is a company called Eriksson, which provides the telecommunications infrastructure in 184 countries across the world. These days, telecommunication and internet infrastructure is the same thing, it's all fiber optics. Eriksson holds over 65,000 patents in this area. The Wallenberg family took control of Eriksson in 1932, following the death of Swedish business tycoon Ivo Kruger. In March of 1932, Ivo Kruger was attending the funeral of French Prime Minister Aristide Briand, who had died on the 7th of March, under strange circumstances. Aristide Briand was allied with Ivo Kruger, and was also a strong opponent of fascism and economic dictatorship. Kruger and his American and French bank allies were determined to continue lending money to Germany. In this way, Hitler, and of course the Second World War, could certainly have been stopped. Which was not in Wallenberg's interests, as they had large shareholdings in IG Farben. IG Farben was the private German chemicals company, allied with the Nazis, that manufactured the Zyklon B gas, used to commit genocide, in the Holocaust. The Wallenbergs' connections to Hitler and the Nazis goes even deeper than that, but we cannot cover it all in this episode. So, the funeral took place on the 12th of March, and the official story is that Ivo Kruger after the funeral, went up to his room, and shot himself in the chest. Considering the circumstances around Kruger and Germany, and what directly followed his death, there is no question that this was a murder and a coup. Because on the day following the murder of Kruger, a group of people appeared and claimed that they represented a royal commission from Sweden. Among these men were Ivo Kruger's own lawyer, Hugo Stenbeck and Jacob Wallenberg. They then illegally, without any correct balance sheets, seized all Ivo Kruger's valuable assets, which they then valuated and declared that all his companies in both Sweden and internationally were bankrupt. The shareholders who owned shares in Kruger's company lost all their assets, both in Sweden and abroad. Ivo Kruger's brother and several of Kruger's employees were jailed for crimes they never committed. Ivo Kruger's assets were realized on the world market, and in Sweden, where among others, bank director Olof Ashberg, Ivo Kruger's lawyer Hugo Stenbeck, Swedish bank Handelsbanken and the Wallenbergs claimed that Kruger was a swindler and that his assets were useless. After that, Eriksson became Jacob Wallenberg's baby, in lack of a better word. By taking control of Eriksson, the Wallenbergs was on their way to establishing a monopoly on telecommunication. To make matters worse, the Wallenbergs are also connected to a company called Cryptograph, which developed cryptography machines, used by intelligence agencies. Boris Hagelin, who was the owner of Cryptograph, at least on paper, had worked for the Wallenbergs right up until starting Cryptograph. The cryptography machines were also manufactured by Eriksson, just to make things even more apparent. The company later changed its name to Crypto AG and moved to Switzerland. These machines had backdoors built into them right from the start, and this was later revealed. In 2014, the NSA revealed that the owner, Boris Hagelin, had a gentleman's agreement with them from 1951 onwards. In 2020, it was revealed that from 1960, the company had a licensing agreement with the CIA, and that in 1970, Crypto AG was purchased by the German BND and the American CIA. There is a lot of history that shines even more light on the Wallenberg family's involvement with the intelligence community. Let's just put it like this: are there any intelligence services that can survive without access to the telecommunications infrastructure? Again, who has the real power? Let's just say that there's no coincidence that Ericsson had to make a deal with the American Department of Justice in December 2019 because of widespread corruption. A couple of weeks ago, the story broke that Ericsson has bribed ISIS. What did Trump say about Ericsson in 2016?
Here is another example of pay for play. In 2009, a company called Ericsson came under U.S. pressure for selling telecom equipment to several oppressive governments, including Sudan, Syria, and Iran. Some of these regimes use those technologies to monitor and control their own people. In June 2011, Hillary Clinton's State Department began adding goods and services to a list that might be covered under expanded sanctions on Iran and other state sponsors of terrorism. During that time, Ericsson sponsored a speech by Bill Clinton, paying him $750,000, his highest paying speech. In April 2012, the Obama administration issued an executive order imposing sanctions on telecom sales to Iran and Syria, but those sanctions did not cover Ericsson's work in Iran. A Trump administration will end the government corruption.
In the next episode, we will shine an even bigger light on the small, but not so insignificant country called Sweden. Thank you for listening.